Rashad, why you didn't
Anyways,
hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.
Shout out to Julia Poe. I'm Big Poe. Yeah. I'm Big Poe. Yeah. I'm Big Poe. See ya. Okay. So my thoughts, right? Going into this, reading these two stories from the Chicago Tribune and the other one from Front Office Sports. All right. It's this, all right. Angel she ain't done nothing. She hasn't done enough yet to be like demanding this type of demand. You know what I'm saying? Like, she ain't been there. She's not a vet. This is her second season. What are you in a rush to move out for? What are you in a rush to publicly call out your franchise? I understand 100% being frustrated with losing, especially after winning a national championship. You win a national championship, the next year y'all lose in the Elite Eight, you go to the draft, you lose a lot your first year, you lose even more your second season. I get it. I understand, right? From that perspective. At the same time, bro, dog, it is not to the point where you throwing your current teammates under the bus and you call them out by name and you're saying, you know what I'm saying, we need to win or I'm out. I love to spend my whole career here. But if we can't win here, then I need to find somewhere where I can win. Like, it's not that time yet. LeBron James, the decision, he was drafted 03. The decision was 7 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this ain't me, because I think this could easily come across as me trying to sound like a plantation owner, right? Like, you're like, hey, you can't leave. What is you doing? You're a professional athlete. Shut up and dribble the ball. You know, it's very easy to come across as that with this. I still believe if you were drafted by a team, even though in businesses don't have loyalty to you, I think just my personal morals are I have loyalty to them for at least a couple years, and then we can kind of go from there, business talks. So, okay, 5 years for real. Angel, I think right now, the right thing would have been, you know what I'm saying? And you know, she'd be like, oh, well, you aren't in this position. Everybody got an opinion. 100%, Angel. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not in the WNBA. I'm not a superstar. I'm not a WNBA All-Star. I'm just saying this as a lifelong basketball fan who's watched many of these situations play out in the W and in the NBA. So I say you get drafted. First 2 years, you lose. First year, you lose. Obviously, we're working to get more wins, but we know it's a long process. We were just rookies last year. Myself and Camilla, you know, we're coming in next season, one more year under our belt. We hope to win some more games and kind of get the city lit of Chicago and get back to so much because they show us so much love. We want to show love back to them and win some games, right? 100%. That's the first one. First season. Second season, you keep losing, you lose even worse. I'm not gonna lie, it's frustrating losing games. It sucks. I don't know what we have to do, but we have to get better. We obviously have to get better. And you know, it starts with me, and it starts with each and every single one of us. What can we do? What can I do to improve my game and make sure I put this team in a better position to win games? It's a team sport, and I feel like we have the tools and the pieces to do it. And we've had the tools and pieces to do it last year. We were moving in the right direction. This year we have a worse record. So okay, let's reset. Let's look back. Okay, what can I, you know, all of these things that we draw back at the end of the season, which we're nearing, and go from there. You're not calling out no specific players. You're not saying this and that, ABC, woo woo. You're not saying we need to trade Ariel Atkins for Kyle Copper. We need to bring Kyle Copper back. We need to. She ain't do all that. She ain't do it. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing all that with that. All right. So that's the second thing. That's the thing that I would think is. I'm sorry. This is a lot of talking before I even get into the stories. I know that people are like, man, what the heck? Da, da, da. I just don't want to give a take after reading the full stories and getting the context. It ain't give y'all a take that I already believe going into the stories. You know what I'm saying? Going into reading the articles. So give me a second here. Let me see what Angel had tonight. against Connecticut. Let me see what she had tonight against Connecticut. Oh, they're still playing. Tina Charles has 19 points in 24 minutes. Angel has 14 and 12. Okay, let's get into it, man. Angel Reese wants the Chicago Sky to do more in WNBA free agency. We can't settle for what we have this year. Julia Poe. Few players are more fixated on the upcoming WNBA free agency cycle than Angel Reese. More than 100 players will enter WNBA free agency this winter as a tumult of a two-team expansion draft and a new collective bargaining agreement promises an offseason league-wide upheaval. Those players include 21 of this year's 24 All-Star selections. Reese is not an anticipated free agent. Sky Ford is 5 games away from finishing her second season of her rookie contract, a 3-year agreement with a team option that all but guarantees to keep her in Chicago through 2027. But that doesn't mean that she's content to spend an upcoming offseason on the sideline. In the final dregs of a second consecutive losing season, with a 9-30 record entering Wednesday night's home game against the Connecticut Sun, Sky's leading scorer is making her voice heard within the front office. I'm not settling for the same ish we did this year, Reese told the Tribune. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. All right. Let's continue winning. Let's continue reading. I'm willing and wanting to play with the best. And however I can help to get the best here. That's what I'm going to do this offseason. So it's going to be a very, very important offseason to make sure we attract the best of the best because we can't settle for what we have this year. Woo! Calling them folks out, man. Here we go. Throughout her tenure, Reese has been consistent about her buy-in with the Sky. When the team missed the playoffs in 2024 and fired first-year head coach Teresa Weatherspoon, with whom Reese remains a strong relationship, she voiced frustration yet maintained her commitment to building a long-term future in Chicago. She bought a house in Lamont last offseason and helped renovate custom courts at Oakwood Beach. And when faced criticism of the Sky's training facilities and overall investment, Reese often shrugged off questions with the same response: I just want to hoop. But at the end of the season, she's beginning to take more pragmatic and conditional stance towards her future with the Sky. I am very vocal about what we need and what I want, Reese said. I like to be here for my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me. But while I'm here, I'm going to try to stay open-minded about what I have here and maximize that as much as I can. Reese has no trouble in coming up with ideas for how to improve the Sky and sharing them with anyone in authority, from general manager Jeff Pagula to owner Michael Alter. She wants an expanded offices, spaces, and training facilities to give the organization a more comparable work environment to competitors around the league. She wants a more dynamic style of play on the court. She wants the Sky to establish more of a cohesive identity regardless of personnel. She wants Coach Tyler Marsh to coach the players harder. But more than anything else this winter, Reese wants the Sky to get the roster right in free agency. The front office has been timid since Pagula took over as general manager. He traded Kyle Copper to get the number 3 pick in 2024, then sent out the number 3 pick in 2025 to acquire Ariel Atkins. Their phones at the Sox at the Saks Recreation Center has some of the most active in the league. Still, that activity has yet been rewarded with on-court success. Paloka had a vision for the 2025 team, a group that could sling three-pointers and play up-tempo offense while running through Reese and Camila Cardoso on both ends of the court. But the concept crumbled almost immediately before being thrown completely off track with Courtney Vandersloot's season-ending injury. Sure, the Sky are young, and sure, they suffered several major blows due to injury throughout the year, but Reese pointed to the first year with Golden State Valkyries, who are number 6 in this league standings despite building their roster primarily through the expansion draft, as a comparison point for how the Sky have underperformed this season. Watching Golden State, no offense, but I don't think – she said no offense, but I don't think they're more talented than us on paper, Reese said. But they play hard as heck. So starting at the top, we've got to find an identity of what we're going to be next season and then roll with the punches of what we get. Sky front office has targeted Atkins, Vandersloot, and Rachel Vanham as 3 veterans to potentially bring back through free agency. Haley Van Lith and Maddie Westbelt remain under contract alongside Reese and Cardoso, although the rookies could be dealt with trades. The 2026 roster will also include the addition of 2025 pick Sivka, who sat out this season to play in EuroLeague, and a lottery pick conveyed by the Connecticut Sun. That accounts for potentially 9 roster spots, yet Reese anticipates a substantial overhaul this winter. She believes there are only 2 guarantees on the 2026 Sky roster, herself and Cardoso. Between the expansion draft and free agency, the rest of the group is unknown. Reese dang, she said all this? Reese identified free agency needs across the roster, including a backup post and a fleet of shooting guards who can get downhill. Kia Nurse, goodbye. Bye, bye, bye. What did what Alexis Morris say? No offense, 30 and up, hang it up. But her main concern surrounds the point guard position. Vandersloot's absence this season exposed weaknesses across the Sky's roster. The team likes a player who can attack the rim and split the seams on the defense while moving downhill. I wonder who did that. Are they perhaps hooping in China? Are they perhaps hooping in Mexico? Arriba. Shouts out to Holly. Guards such as Banham, Van Lith, and Kia Nurse have been out of position and out of their depth during emergency stints at point guard. As a result, the Sky have relied heavily on Reese to handle the ball as a point forward. While praising Vandersloot's abilities and leadership, Reese balked out the prospect of building a roster around a point guard attempting to return from an ACL tear at the age of 36. And she doesn't believe the backup options such as Banham and Van Lith are prepared to carry the mantle on a playoff team. She said all of this? Oh, wow. We can't rely on Courtney to come back at the age that she's at, Reese said. I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone a little younger with some. She said all this to the press. This what like players be talking like this, like around the press and to the press, but they don't want it reported. Like in the press conference and the official record, they don't speak like this for the most part, unless they're ready to get traded, like on some Jimmy Butler stuff. This is crazy, bro. We need someone with a little more, who's probably a little bit younger with some experience, someone who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before. Why won't they get? Well, how do you feel about Kennedy Carter coming back, huh? Yo, what is happening at SSB? We talking about Angel Reese calling out her teammates. If the Sky are going to land a star in free agency, Reese is hoping for a facilitator who can elevate the offense at all 3 levels. But the Sky still haven't shaken one lingering question. Even if they identified the correct talent in free agency, how can they persuade players to come to Chicago? Hold on, let me turn this on. The Sky haven't landed a major free agent since 2022 when they signed Emma Messiman after she took a 2-season break from the WNBA. Most of the team's history has been defined by the departure of players such as Sylvia Fowles, Helena Deldon, to Vandersloot and Copper. This pattern often is attributed to the Sky's lack of spending in comparison with the league's giants like the New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces. Improvements such as a new training facility, which is expected to open in Bedford Park next spring, could begin the amended reputation. And Reese promises to be on a campaign trail the moment that the season still ends. Still, she has to admit her pitch to potential free agency still feels like a tough sell. We need great players, and I don't know what will attract that, Reese said. Maybe the practice facility will attract that. We'll see. But the priority is being able to convince free agents that this is an organization that is going in the right direction. Honestly, it would be a leap of faith for a great player to come here and show that this is something that we could want to be a part of and we could bring that championship mentality. All right. So before we get to Annie's story, number 2 story, I want to say this. Some people said, but when Asia Wilson said the same thing, people call it leadership. Asia Wilson has won 2 championships. Asia Wilson has multiple MVPs as well, bro. The thing is, when you make this statement, you need to do something, bro. You need to do something, accomplish something as a team, accomplish something with team accomplishment. It can't be no 2 years, because if you look at it, right, accountability, right? We have to look in the mirror. When we lose, we have to say I. When we win, we use we. That's what, shout out to Ernie Johnson. Ernie Johnson said that a long time ago on TNT when Joe Johnson was calling out the fans with the Hawks and stuff like that. That was like 2011, 2012. They were getting blown out and swept by the Orlando Magic. I think if it's the second round, one of the ugliest playoff series you'll ever see, especially in the second round. Jeez Louise, right? So, yeah, man, you have to look at yourself. And the main thing here is, okay, Angel Reese has missed a large chunk of the season last year due to injury, and she's missed a large chunk of this season due to injury. You haven't even been available to do all that you can to will your team to the playoffs. So it's like, okay, let's look at ourselves first. Let's see what's going on. I don't know why they got rid of Kennedy Carter. I don't know why they got rid of Spoon. I don't know why. I don't know if Sabria knows. I don't know if Sabria don't know. I don't know if, she said I never said a name, everything like I don't know what they got going on in Chicago. I am in the South. But whatever they have going on, those two decisions still don't make any sense for them jokers, man. Getting rid of Kyle Copper. I mean, not Kyle Copper. I think Kyle Copper, she requested a trade. But getting rid of Kennedy Carter and Spoon. I felt like they were moving in a good direction with that. They messed it up. They brought in older players like Ariel Atkins and Sloot. Sloot ends up getting hurt. Ariel Atkins ends up kind of being somewhat of a disappointment. She goes off some games scoring wise, but other games is kind of like they have no scorers. Who are their scorers? I was like, Ariel Atkins was supposed to be that. So I don't know. It's just certain things with that, right? Angel, you haven't done everything that you could have done. Like Asia Wilson, when she first joined the Aces, when she was first drafted, they sucked. They were trash for a very long time. I apologize, Mom, if you're listening. You heard me say that word. They were bad for a really, really long time. They were bad in San Antonio with De'Erica and Kelsey Plum. They were bad when they first moved to Vegas and they first drafted Asia Wilson. It literally took them like 4 number 1 draft picks and Chelsea Young leaving LA to come to Vegas for them to become something. These things take time. It takes time to build this stuff from the ground up. You don't just, okay, I'm going to get drafted. We bad for the first year. The second year, we're going to work on our games, go to Unrivaled, come back, make a couple trades. Like you said you was recruiting at Unrivaled. You end up getting Ariel Atkins, right? It didn't work. You guys got worse. So now what? You got to go back to the drawing board. We got to figure this out. And I think that y'all moved on too quickly because of impatience, ironically, which you're kind of showing here. It's year 2 and you're showing impatience. The season ain't even in yet. This ain't even season in the interviews. This ain't even exit interviews. Y'all got 2-3 games left. I appreciate the honesty with the media, but dang, like you could have held back some. Look at my boys. Bay Swag, Cash Cobain, B Jacks in the building, man. The Slizzies, huh? Shout out to Speed. But all of these things, right? It takes patience to build a championship team. It takes patience in the pros to be a winner. And you got to have that, bro. You can't throw your team under the bus. I don't know if I can stay here, man. We might have to look at elsewhere. Yeah, this ain't no LeBron decision 2010. LeBron, when he made the decision, that joker went to the finals in Cleveland. That joker went to the conference finals a couple times. And then he lost to the first super team of the era, which was the 08 Boston Celtics. After that, then he was like, okay, all right, he lost 08, 09, and 2010. 09, he lost to Dwight Howard. 2010, he loses to the Celtics. He said, all right, bro, I'm out. I'm out of Cleveland. We're going to keep it pushing, right? So that's what bro did. You're in year 2, dude. That's all I'm saying. I know you got a whole team and they know what they're doing. You make so many great marketing, off the court decisions and things of that sort for the Angel Reese brand. And it's beautiful to see. I love to see you uplifted the game of women's basketball. You and Caitlin Clark, both of y'all uplifted the game. I salute that and I acknowledge that. At the same time, gang, check the people in your circle because you might get lost in the sauce being Angel Reese. I'm Angel Reese. I'm Angel Reese, the diva, the Bobby. Let's look. Let's take a step back now. It's year 2. I'm not gonna lie to you. We just got on Ryan Howard. I just got on Ryan Howard, right? For throwing the fans on the bus. The fans pay your bills and everything like that. You don't throw the fans on the bus, right? Throw the fans on the bus. And what she ended up doing? She ended up making up for it or whatever. Just started hooping. The Dream start winning again against the teams they're supposed to be the end of the year to get the second seed. We'll see if they end up with the second seed and everything like that. But she's doing her job, and she stopped calling out the fans, and the fans started showing up. So I guess both things happened. It was an uncomfortable conversation that she brought to the forefront with her honesty. Salute to Ryan Howe for that. I ain't gonna lie to you, right? She did that, and that's what happened. In this case, you're throwing your teammates under the bus. They played a little better tonight, right? They playing better. Let me see the score. They won. They won by double digits against Connecticut. That's a game you got to win. Angel had 18 and 13 and 4. She did what she had to do. Team stepped up. She was the leading scorer tonight. She put her money where her mouth was. We love to see it. At the same time, gang, you young, bro. You're young, dude. It's year 2. It's year 2. And this rushing is how y'all got here in the first place. You rushed last year. Kennedy Carter gone. Spoon gone. What are we doing, man? And I know you didn't want Spoon off because of how you treated Spoon after she was off the team. But it's just, just things to look at, bro. Anyways, I'm saying the same thing over and over. Front office sports. Shout out to Andy Cosbell, obviously former Chicago Sky beat writer, now national reporter with Front Office Sports. Angel Reese faces uncertain future in Chicago after publicly torching teammates. Talking about two-time WNBA champion Courtney Vandersloot, Reese said the team needs someone a little bit younger and willing to compete for a championship that has been done before. Oh, so it's the same thing. Same. She said this in the presser in the pregame scrub. That's kind of wild, bro. I appreciate the honesty, but dang, you gonna say that during the season? Like, goodness gracious, you could have been like, we'll talk more at the exit interviews, but this is definitely not something I'm happy with. I don't think anybody likes losing, and we'll talk about the rest later. Why don't you like losing? I mean, coming from a situation in college is something that everybody has to deal with when they transition to the WNBA. You obviously look at Paige in Dallas. She comes from a winning culture in UConn. Kind of the most winningest culture in all of women's basketball. She goes to Dallas and they're like the worst team. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's an adjustment for her. It's just something that takes time moving up to the professional ranks, and we'll get it eventually, but we just don't want to be losing too long, And I'll answer more of those questions at the exit interview. That's all she had to say. But nah, she gave the full answer. Like I said, salute to the honesty, but gosh, Lee, before the end of the season? All right. That's that, Angel Reese. That's how I feel about it.
Rashad, why you
Anyways.
didn't hit me up?
What's up, Rashad? Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
Front lit
What's up,
in it,
Rashad?
yeah.
What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.